guys. Happy Friday, everybody. We have a lower body strength and conditioning workout coming at you right now. For equipment today specifically, I am going to be using this towel and this floor where I will be sliding the towel to do a couple specific exercises. If you guys do not have this, of course, I have options that do not require it, but if you need to go grab that, that is one of the things. The other things are my 8-pound dumbbells as well as these 2 loop bands. Okay, so let's get this started. You guys are getting into a squat stance to start. We're gonna have our feet a little bit wider than our hips, a slight angle out in our toes. We'll sink ourselves down into a squat, trying to get our hands as close to the floor as we can. We will grab our ankles, straighten out the legs, bend the legs, and then stand and send those arms above our head. That's 1. We are doing that 10 times to start. So sitting down and grabbing as close as we can to our heels, which might be your shins, which might be your knees, and that's completely fine. We're going to straighten out the legs as much as we can, sit back down, and then stand, reach those arms up. That's 2, and you are doing 8 more of those. So as you go through these, you might feel like you're getting a little bit looser, like you can get those legs slightly straighter. So just work it as you can through 10 of those total. Okay, let's do it. There it is. So we're not forcing anything as per usual, especially when we are warming up, especially when we're doing these training sessions that we haven't really done much before, except maybe just woke up, had a coffee, maybe some breakfast, something like that. So really do ease into this, working with those hamstrings, the back of the legs. Once you have completed 10 of those, we are going to step ourselves to the front of the mat, standing hip width apart in our feet, arms down by our sides. We'll step back into a lunge, sending both those arms above our head. And we'll count out 20 reps of these, alternating legs, right side and then left side, and we'll do 20 total, 10 per side. Bending down 90 degrees, arms are staying straight the entire time, and we are going through 20 of them, right side and left side. So you'll feel a little bit of opening stretch through the front of the hips, the chest, the shoulders, especially if you join me on the last couple workouts and the last few training sessions, last couple days. We're gonna loosen all that stuff up here with this one through our 20. Once you guys are done that, we will either turn around or you can come and walk yourself to the end of the mat for the next one. Same stance in our feet. We're bringing our hands down to the floor, walking ourselves down into a plank position. When we get down here, we will lift the hips up, lower them back down, and then walk ourselves up to the top. Standing up, nothing up here, we just stand in, taking a deep breath, and then going back down and doing that 4 more times. So we walk into the plank, lift those hips up, push up onto your toes, back down into the plank, and then we walk up to the top, and that's 2, and you will complete 3 more of those to make it 5 total. Cut that window open. Just warm in here. All right, so yes, you will be warm after this one. Same kind of focus. We're opening up the back of the legs. You'll feel the back of the calves, your hamstrings, all of that loosening up as you go through your 5 reps of this one. All right. So as we are finishing up that one, the next one is down on the floor on all 4s. We're going to get on our hands and knees, make sure our shoulders are stacked over top of our wrists, our hips are stacked over top of our knees. We'll be kicking one leg back behind us on a 90 degree, circling it over to the side, lowering it, lifting it back to the side, 90, and then lowering, that's 1. We're doing that 5 times per side. So again, I kick back. I want to rotate the legs, so I'm trying to open it sideways like this, but I'm moving from this position over to here. You'll feel work and burn in that glute on that lifted leg, which is the goal. And we'll go through that entire cycle, going through 5 cycles on each side, working with our range of motion, whatever you guys have. You want to feel that work in the glute, so it is important that you are kicking your leg up all the way. But when it comes to that rotation, depending on our mobility, we may or may not have like a bigger circle as we rotate that leg from here to here, okay? So you want to avoid too much movement in the body. We'll do that on both sides. That side, the other side. Okay, so this one is definitely one of those ones that is harder than it looks in terms of what muscles we're using. We're tapping into really small muscles in the sides and the backs of our hips, which is why you feel probably quite limited in this one. But the most important thing again is that you're feeling the work on the sides and the back of the bootay as you lift and rotate that leg around. So we will do that on both sides, and that one takes a little bit. So you may not be done yet, and that's okay. Take your time with it. If you are done, you can stand up and shake it out. Grab a quick sip of water if you would like. We have a few more to do in this warm-up, but the next few are all about activation. And that one kind of started our way to the activation ones that we're doing. What we're going to require for these next ones are our loop bands. So if you guys have loop bands, we want to bring those out, preferably a medium strength one. I'm using my blue one, which is a 3. We go up to 6, so it's literally right in the middle. Ideally a medium or a light band. We don't want anything too heavy. What we're going to do is take this band and put it around our ankles, around our heels, and we are going to go through our 3-point extension. So we've been working with this one recently with the towel on the floor where we're sliding our foot on the floor. Today we're coming back to our band. We're going to have this band in around our ankles. If you do not have a band, you're following along with no band. Okay, exact same rules apply. We're going to shift all of our weight onto one leg. So I'm going to start off with my left leg. So I'm standing on my left leg. I'm going to soften out my knee, make sure I'm standing with nice posture. We'll hinge our hips back so that we're in this hip hinge position, and we'll feel very loaded on this standing leg here. The more loaded you can feel, the better, because that's where the work is, right there. Now what we're going to do is kick to the side, out on a 45, and then back straight behind that hip. 45, straight back, 45, side, and we're cycling through each one of those, going through 15 reps total. So we'll do that on this side. Again, we're essentially balancing the entire time, trying to hold our weight on this one standing leg. And 15, and 15. Why is it telling me my internet's unstable? I think we're good. Hopefully that didn't just go blurry and weird. Okay, so let's do it. Right side and then left side, 15 total. Okay, so every one of those equals 1. You don't have to count, the total number or the total sets, just the every single rep, 15. Okay, so once you're done, you can waddle yourself over to one side of your mat with 2 more to go before we start our strength exercises. So this next one, the band is going to stay in the same position. We're going to have our feet hip width apart, and same soft knees, same hip hinge so that we're loaded up in the back of our hips. And that's something that you need to think about. You need to feel. Once you feel that tightness back there, we're going to step wider and then come hip width. Wider, hip width. The entire time I am sticking my butt out, pushing my hips behind me so that my knees aren't bending forward like this, but rather my butt is sticking out behind me. So that way I'm getting that same loaded feeling in the hips. So we're going to go down the mat and back 5 times. Okay, so we're going to take hip width. There and back is 1. Oh, yes, my friends, we're doing this 5 times, okay? I'm gonna go back, and this already is starting to burn, and that's 2, okay? So you are going to sidestep, avoiding bringing your feet any closer than hip width, because as soon as we come closer, we lose the tension on the band, and it makes it easier, and you're not gonna get as much out of it. Okay, so we'll do that, again, 5 times there, and back is 1. So I know that one is a big one. It's a burner. You're gonna feel it, okay, in the backs and sides of your hips. So this one is the second last one. We have 1 more activation exercise to go before we start our strength movements. Last one is all about activating our core muscles. So we're going to lay on our back, working with a dead bug, 2 versions of a dead bug rather. So come on here and join me once you're done that one, the side steps with the band 5 times, there, back. We're going to lay on our back here and work with our dead bug. You guys are working with a pause dead bug, where we're going to take the palm of one hand and push in the top of the leg of the opposite knee, and then we will lower opposite arm, opposite leg. You can either keep the leg bent or straighten out the leg, We know this one. The most important thing is keeping our back down, okay? So for today, you're going to do 10 reps over here, 10 reps over here, 2 times, okay? So let's get to it. 10 on this side. Every rep, we're exhaling as we go down, trying to push the back down, using that breath on the hardest part, which is when we send those limbs out. And we'll do 10 on this side, 10 on this side, 2 times. So then I have to do 10 and 10 again. All right, not 20 in a row, but 10, 2 sets. Okay, let's get it. Let's do it. 1 minute up. All right, so good work, my friends. Once you guys are done that one, we can stand up. You should be feeling quite warm, quite activated, and ready to go for these strength movements that we're going to start with. So we have 2 exercises that we are doing together for the first superset. We're doing them back to back, but we will be taking a bit of allocated rest once we are done the second exercise. So we have exercise 1, exercise 2, and then a 30 to 45 second bout of rest, because the focus of these 2 movements are similar. We're going to be working similar muscles, not quite the exact same, but the hamstrings, the back of the legs. So the first movement we're going to do is our sumo straight leg deadlift. I'm going to be using my 2 8-pound dumbbells, holding them both in my sides here. I'm in the sumo stance, which is our wide stance with toes pointed out. We want the soft knees, which are going to stay straight but soft the entire time. All I'm doing is pushing my hips back and then pulling my hips forward. Okay, and we're working with 15 reps is our number to beat today. Oh yeah. So you can grab onto your weights right now. If you guys don't have weights, you can hold a band in your hand sideways for a bit of sideways tension for your upper body. Palms can stay facing the legs. Soft knees, shoulders together, and we will start our first set. So we want to essentially drag those weights down and up our legs. We don't want them to stray too far away, because as soon as that happens, that low back and core has to work a lot harder, and your hamstrings don't really get all that work. By keeping the weights close and focusing on hinging the hips, not bringing the body down, okay? So it's very important that you stick your ass out, okay? You push your butt out behind you, and then you pull it forward, because that's what this is, okay? It's not you lifting the weights up and down. We're pushing the hips back, and then using all those lengthened, stretched muscles to pull the hips forward. You feel that squeeze, okay? So see if you can get that. Woo! Sometimes it is something that you have to think about, okay? It doesn't just come naturally. That feeling might not just happen back there, especially if you are limited on equipment. You don't have really the heaviest weights in the world. It will still be extremely effective as long as you think about it and focus on that mind to muscle connection. So 15 of them, okay? By the end of that, you should be feeling something, a little something, something in the back of your legs, the back of your hips, okay? Because this is hamstrings and glutes. Both of those guys are working in this one. With this movement, we are going to pair this with our hamstring curl. You guys are going to be working with 15 reps of this hamstring curl. Now, I explained in the very beginning that I will be using this towel on this sliding hardwood floor here. Laminate, hardwood, not exactly sure, but anyways, it's slippery. And I'm going to be curling my legs in, laying on my back through 15 reps. In terms of options for these, I'm going to give you guys our extended bridge option, which requires no equipment at all. If you are using dumbbells, we can also work with our dumbbell hamstring curl, where we set the dumbbell up like this, align our feet beside the dumbbells, and then lay dumbbell, just one, and then lay on our tummy and curl this bad boy in for 15 reps. Okay, so that is an option, that curl there, although the one that I would personally choose to do and recommend to do, because it's probably a lot more challenging, is our hamstring curls laying on our back. So what I'm going to do is just fold my mat up there a little bit, lay on my back. Heels are going to go on this towel, bridge, and then we can work with our butt down, pulling in, pushing back up, negative hamstring curls. Or if you're really feeling yourself, and you're feeling safe, you're feeling strong, you can try pulling in those heels with the butt off the floor, just like that, okay? But regardless of what you're doing, you have 15 reps of those guys down there. So let's get those in. And then, if you remember, you do have some programmed rest. All right, so once you finish those hamstring curls, you can just stand up, walk it off, sit down. Okay, it doesn't really matter, you don't have to stand. But you're resting, okay, for about 30 to 45 seconds. We'll try to keep it under minutes. If you need to watch your clock or something, that's okay. Or just simply take a few deep breaths. Try to just, rest. Think about what you felt back there. Think about how you're going to feel it a little bit more on this next set, because you are going through 3 more of these total, all right? So once you are feeling rested, recovered, it's been at least 30 seconds, okay, but not too long because we don't want to rest for too much time. We will go into our second set of our sumo straight leg deadlift. So positioning is strong. You want a strong core. You don't want to be arching through your back like this. You want to think about doing that bit of a crunch, squeezing our butt, and then thinking about using the back of the legs the entire set, pushing the hips back, and then squeezing our way up to the top. Okay. Hands, rains. Okay, so if you have not started your second set, you probably should. Okay, let's get it going here. Set number 2. And curl. You got it. Okay. Good job, you guys. So we'll right from those deadlifts into those hamstrings. Now, if you do not have a towel, or you don't have a floor that slides, and you don't have dumbbells, what do? I will show you right now. It is our extended bridge, which I talked about. I'll let you hang it on. So how this looks, normal bridge position, I can feel my heels right here with a bit of a reach. In the extended bridge, which is more hamstring focused here, I want to walk my feet away a little bit, not too much, but the further out, you'll feel it more. But we'll just take about a foot step away, and then you can go through this bridge now, and you will feel more focus on the hamstrings. You'll still feel your butt, but you'll feel more hamstrings. If you want to make it a bit harder, you can step your feet further away, and you will feel it back there, especially because you are doing 15 reps. All right, that's a lot of reps. They burn, especially those last 5. You should really feel all of them, okay? But on the flip side, it should be a manageable burning sensation. Kind of creeps up on you, gets worse as you do each rep, especially with the hamstrings. Constantly kind of reminding you guys that the hamstrings are probably one of the weaker, more underutilized muscles. We don't really use them as much in our training and in real life, so they're very easy to injure and to accidentally hurt, because it just kind of happens because they tend to get tight and then they're not that strong because we just simply don't use them as much. So that is my little disclaimer that I like to throw in once in a while, to always put safety first and to never work into anything that does not feel good, okay? That burning, kind of creeping up pain that gets worse and worse as you go through your reps until eventually you just cannot do it anymore. That is a good pain, okay? That is the pain that we want to work through. That acute, sharp, pinchy pain that comes on out of nowhere and feels like you're being stabbed or something like that, that is not such a good pain, okay? So if that ever happens to you, especially when it comes to those hamstrings, just stop that, okay? And just do something that does not make you feel that. I give you lots of options. So we will take them into our next 2 sets, which are also our last 2 sets. So you can take this rest right now, H2O, and then we will go into set number 3 of these sumo straight leg deadlifts. Let's do it. Okay. So working on set number 3. Again, if you guys are working with bands, if you do not have dumbbells available to yourself, you can hold that band sideways in your hands here. Same thing, we would pull the dumbbells in. Just going to give you some upper body tension. And then you can go through your 15 reps. I'm trying to drive the hands into the legs, keep them as close as possible. Let's get it. Okay, so we have about 4 minutes to finish up this part. All right, so we'll go right into those hamstring curls. Okay, so because we've been working on these, we've been trying our best to get stronger at them and improve our hamstring strength. That is why I say and I suggest that you guys can attempt to do this with your butt off the floor. Okay, but if you are stuck in between the two, I would prefer that you work with our negative one, where I push my hips up, let my feet out, and just work this part as slow as you can. Okay, and just resist the urge to fall onto the floor as much as you can. The more you can do that, the more you're going to challenge those hamstrings, your glutes in this one, and then eventually you'll be able to just pull in without having to put your butt down. Okay, but this is kind of the halfway point, working on this before we try to pull our feet in. Okay, and see if you can control that. All right, we got one more set. Let's get it going on here. Final round, final set. We'll take this little bout of rest. Then sit. 15, good job. Let's do it. So we'll give you 2 more minutes here to finish this part up. 15 reps on each. And then we are moving on. Okay, so final set, last one to go. Try to focus a lot on what's happening in the back of our legs. You were not feeling this, okay? In the last set, I really do want you to think about it, that squeeze, but not that's at the top, okay? We don't want to just stand and squeeze our butts. We want to start thinking about doing that at the bottom of the rep. So as we go down, we're going down, dumbbells are lowering, feeling a stretch through the back of the legs, through the back of the hips. Focus on that stretch. Try to squeeze into it and pull yourself up with it. So that way you start squeezing your butt. You don't just have to stand and finish with it. Okay, so you have one more set, one more chance to get that in. 15 of them. Get it? Last one. These ones. Okay, 15 on each. And then we are moving on to the next 2, of course. Whee. Okay, final set. You guys we can give you just under 2 minutes to finish this up. 15 deadlifts, 15 hamstring curls. And then we are on to the next 2. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so strong finish. All right, so we have just under 1 minute. And if my calculations are correct, yes. Okay, so as you are coming to an end, hopefully you are feeling good. Hopefully you're feeling the back of your legs, all right? Because that was the ultimate focus of that superset right there, okay? The hamstrings and the glutes. We are moving on to the next supersets. We have 2 new exercises, although we have been here before, but they are new to this training session today. We're going to work with a single leg deadlift to reverse lunge. This is a combination move, the one that we have been working on for the past few Fridays. But this is one that we've been working on for a long time. So you should be getting quite strong at this one. What we're going to do today is really challenge the strength, specifically of that reverse lunge. So what I want you guys to do is work with that deadlift, okay, single deadlift. We go down, we come up, doing it the same way we did that sumo deadlift, which is standing on one leg. And then we're going into that reverse lunge, where we're going to see if we can do it more skater squat style than lunge style. Okay, so you see what I did there? I slowly lowered myself down onto the knee, and then I stood myself up without pushing off with my back foot. So hopefully I made that look extremely smooth and easy, because it was not, and it was very challenging. And it might be too challenging, and in which case you can try this instead. Deadlift is the same, okay? Lowering is the same, so we'll try to still lower And then you can push up slightly, but I still want you to focus on a very controlled down phase, okay? So we're doing 6 of these per side. That's your saving grace here. So you've probably already done 2. So we'll see if we can get through 4 more, doing them the same way. The deadlift, and then seeing if we can lower and stand the lunge, okay? And we'll do 6 per side. Now a little hack in this one, the deadlift, if you want to make that skater squat a little bit more manageable, you can try holding a weight in front of you. So you can work with the deadlift with the weight down here, and then you can lift it up and use it for some counterbalance for that skater squat. And that applies if you are wanting to really focus on the skater aspect of that one today and really challenge that, because you're only doing 6 of those per side. So let's get it. First set. Trying to keep it even on both sides. Right side, left side. Get it? If you don't have dumbbells, you can do this with bands, okay? You can also work with body weight because for lots of us, that skater squat variation is going to be extremely challenging with no weight, okay? Let alone holding weights in your hands or bands or anything like that. So we'll see if we can get 6 and 6. We will be doing this again, specifically 3 more times, okay? So you will be back here. And we are going to pair this with another exercise. Okay, but I'll let you finish up this. I'll give you just about 10 more seconds here before I start talking about the next part. Okay, so as you guys come to an end on that one, the next one we're going to grab onto our loop band again and put it around our knees. And if you do not have a band, that is completely fine. You don't actually need one, but the band is going to add some more resistance and tension around our knees, which is going to make us use the muscles on the sides of our hips more, because the knees are going to want to be pulled in, and we don't want that. We want to push them out, which takes work, okay? So that's why I'm using this band. I'm choosing to use it. I'm also going to front load up some dumbbells, holding them at my chest, but not resting them on my chest in front of me like so. Squat stance, we're going to sit down and pulse 1 time, and then stand up to the top. That was 1. We're doing 10 reps total. Now, the bigger the pulse, the harder that this is going to be. Okay, so if you take just a little tiny pulse at the bottom, just a little pulse like that, that's going to be a lot easier than if you go down and you come up like halfway or 3/4 of the way. It's going to take more work in the legs and more time with that band around the knees underneath this weight. So that's what's up for this one. We're doing 10 of those total, with the 1 pulse at the bottom. Okay, we've been working with a lot of those like multiple pulses at the bottom. It's just 1 today. So we really will try to make it challenging as we go through our 10 reps. Now ideally I want you getting your butt down to 90 degrees. Unless you have some pre-existing knee stuff going on, okay, then maybe you don't want to sit that low. That's okay. But the goal, as long as you have no stuff going on in there, is 90 degrees. So we'll get that going on for our first set. Now the difference between this one and the first superset we did is we're not taking any rest. So we're going to go right into our next set, second round of that single deadlift to lunge or skater if you wanted to challenge your strength. And we will see if we can get through 3 more sets back to back, little to no rest in between. If you need to take any rest, you could have done it right now. You could do it right now. You could have done it. I'm grabbing a bit of water once you're done your squats before you go into your next set of the deadlift lunge combo. Okay, we're ready or not? We'll start our second set. Okay, so single deadlift. I'm trying to see if we can keep all of that weight focused on the front leg. Okay, so again, pulling ourselves up rather than pushing ourselves with that bottom back leg. Okay, so both sides, you got it. Give everything it's doing. So we are on to our second set. If you have not started already, let's get it. Okay, so 6 and 6. Okay, I feel like, did I specify this? I don't know. But the lunge and the deadlift and the lunge, I'm trying to say, is 1. Okay, so we do the deadlift, stand up, the lunge, stand up, that's 1 rep. You're doing 6. You probably already presumed that, but in case you know, thought differently, that is what we're going on for this one. So combination move. All right, so we're going right into our second set of those squats. Again, ideally banding up. The other thing we can do is add more than 1 band, especially if you don't have weights. Okay, say you only have bands. The more bands and the heavier the band will influence how hard this is. So if you are wanting to make this a bit more challenging, you only have bands, you don't have dumbbells, what you can do is take 1 band and put it above your knees, like I just had it, and then you can take the other one, and it's always easier said than done to get the bands on. All right, and then you can put this one below the knees, like this, and now I have double tension around my knees, so I'm going to get double that work on my hips that I was talking about as I go through my 10 pulsing reps, okay? So if I didn't have weights, if I didn't have anything to hold in my hand, this is a really great way to make them feel a lot harder than just using our body weight, okay? Especially if you have super strong bands like these ones. This one is level 5. This is the second strongest one that I have. There's 3, this is medium, so a quick sip of water is allowed, that's okay. And then we have 2 more sets to go. Two more sets. Woo! Okay. Good work. You know, we always put the hardest stuff first. Maybe, I don't know, there is that conditioning circuit at the end, so it's hard to say that today, but the strength-wise, we're getting it done in ascending order from hardest to easiest. Okay, so we'll get through this. You guys have 1 more set, maybe 2 more, depending on where you are at. You have lots of time. You have about 6 minutes until we really should be starting the last part of the strength, which is coming up next. Which is going to segue us into our final part of the workout, which is conditioning, which is the last part, which means we are halfway there. So we'll get going on to our 3rd round, that combination move, the deadlift lunge, working with, again, 6 per side. If you are really wanting to improve your skater squats, something that I've talked about before is finding something to elevate the floor. So I am looking around and I'm just looking at the couch here and I'm seeing like couch cushions and pillows. You can always use towels as well if you don't want to get you sweaty knee on your nice couch cushions. But what that's going to do is lift up the floor, which means as we go through the skater squat, the floor is higher. That means I don't have to go so low. And so that is a really great way to get stronger at this one and to improve your strength without, you know, making it feel impossible or like pushing ourselves way too hard, is simply making it a bit easier by lifting up the floor and then going through a smaller range of motion. So we won't have as big of a range to work through, but that's something that we can work on, okay? But sometimes we just have to build a base which starts at a shorter range of motion. Starts more like at the top, and we'll work into that deeper range. All right, you guys have about 4 minutes to get through this. So if you have not started your 3rd set, you need to get to work here, okay? So let's get going on our set number 3 of these 2. 4 rounds total. Try to do that. Okay, hamstrings, glutes, you got it. Okay, so we're going to set number 3 of these squats. Now, for those of you who are working with heavier dumbbells, so you have an actual raiment of dumbbells. Usually when I'm holding my 2, I hold them like this, 1 in each hand sideways. But if I did have a heavier dumbbell, I might want to hold it bow tie style this way, like so, or goblet style with 1 dumbbell underneath. So if you have like, you know, big honking dumbbells, like 30, 40-pound dumbbells, that is a much more comfortable way than holding like 2 lighter ones. But because I only have my 8ers, that is how you often will see me hold them. So we'll get through set number 3. You guys have 1 more to go after this. Just about 2.5 minutes to get there. So really just enough time, all right? We should be finishing that third and thinking about starting fourth, last one, all right? We need to be starting part 3 within the next 3 minutes. So take time. We are just, all right, let's do it. Final round. Okay, because these ones are quick. They're only 6 per side, which I know is kind of like a sneaky 12 because of the double exercise. But get through it, knowing that this is our final set. We have 2 movements to go after this, and then our last part, which is 3 done in a circuit, all for the heart and lungs, a cardio. It's going to make us feel so good. Maybe not in the moment, but after we're done, after we have finished. Okay, so finish strong here, and we are going to go to our final parts. We have 2 movements done back to back, same thing, no rest in between. You guys are going to be counting the reps for this one, and I say that because I'm looking here, and this last day was a timer. We are going to be working with our first one, which is a single leg calf raise. So as you guys finish up that superset there, our deadlift lunge, our 10 pulsing squats, you can grab yourself a little bit of water. We are going to start the next part within the next. You can join me. If you are not done, you can just pay attention. It's a very simple one, okay? We're doing a single leg calf raise. We are going to be holding on to something, okay? Because balance is not the focus on this one. The focus is working this one muscle right here. This one on the lower leg, your calf muscle, that's it, okay? We're doing 15 per side. So I'm holding on to this bookshelf here again, so I don't have to think about balance. That being said, I'm not holding on with like death grip, white knuckle, as strong as I can. I'm very light on it. I'm just grazing, just using it for balance reasons, okay? AKA so I don't have to balance. So let's do this. You can join me here when you're finished your last set of those squats. 15, okay? 15 over here, and then we'll switch, and you can do 15 over here. Holding on with 2 or 1 doesn't matter as long as we're not holding on for dear life, okay? So let's get it. First set, we are going to do one other movement with this one. This is the first one. Now, as I come down, I don't want to fully relax my heel. I want to keep it slightly lifted so that there's tension that stays on that calf muscle. So we'll get through 15, and this foot is lifted in the air. It's not doing anything. Okay, 15, 15. You got it. All right. And then the last final one that we're going to do with this one, we're going to grab onto our dumbbells. If you do not have dumbbells, you can grab, again, that band in your hands sideways. We're in a narrow stance in our feet. We're going to go through a conventional deadlift, so a deadlift with the bending of the legs. So I'm going to push my hips back, and then as soon as the weights are above my knees, I'll bend my knees, and then now I'll stand and shoot onto my toes. And that's 1, and we're doing 10 of those. So we're going through now this deadlift to calf raise, and hips back. I want my hips to stay above my knees. So I don't want to be down here. That's a squat. We are deadlifting, so we want the hips to stay lifted, and then I stand, push up onto both toes. Gives us a little calf raise action at the top there, just to reinforce that single leg one that we did. And we're doing 10 of these. Okay, deadlift, pushing up onto the toes 10 times, and then you guys are doing it again 3 more. Okay, so we are going to be going through for about 6 more minutes, and then we're moving on to the next part. Okay, so we're going back to back. Not necessarily for that amount of time, but that is all the time that we have because we need that last bit of time to do our final conditioning circuit. Okay, and this one is actually quite quick, and there is no rest, all right? And just the time you might need to take to just shake out your legs because these guys are going to burn like crazy in this last part. Okay, that is the focus. So if you're feeling that, you're doing it right. So let's go going into our second set. Back to this one, 15. Okay, which is it's way harder than it looks. Doing these on 1 leg. If you are extremely struggling with these, if you can't get them, you can't get your heel off the floor, maybe you could for like the first 5 or 10 and those last 5 are simply just no bueno. What you can do instead is do allow to touch your heel down to the floor, come to a dead stop, as typically it will give you a bit of momentum to be able to do those last 5 reps. The other thing that you could do if you really had to is sub our single leg calf raise for the double leg calf raise, okay? Which is just an easier version of the same exercise. All right, all the calves. So let's get through our second set, 15, 15, and then we're back into this one, 10 of them. So we want that narrow stance in our feet, nice strong posture, soft knees, stick out the butt. As soon as the weights are above the knees, we bend the knees so that we're sinking into this deadlift, and then we'll stand and shoot on the toes. Okay, 10 of them. And let's get up. Let's do it. Yes, so final part is a 12-minute circuit. Woo! Not too bad. Could be worse. Maybe. We will see. Okay, so keep working through. 2 more sets after this one. We need precisely 12 minutes to finish this last part. Actually, well, 13, because you know I gotta explain a little before we start. So you have just about 4 to finish up your calf raise superset that we have going on right now. All of the heel lifts. So we'll try to go back to back between these 2. Even though we just burn and they just feel like we can't really lift our heels all the way up, but still just try to breathe into it. Remember that exhale is your power. That exhale is always going to help you, okay? If you feel like you can't quite get up all the way, try to breathe out when you do it. See if that helps. It might just help you. It might help you finish that set. And then once you're done, by the time you get to the next one, you might have that strength to do it again. So we'll get through our 3rd and 4th set. 2 minutes to do it. And then you got this part. Nice work. Calves on calves. Okay. So last one, last set. 15, 15, and 10. Okay, home stretch now. We have just this last part here. And then we are done for the day, for the week, because it's Friday. But we have to finish strong here right now through these burning, hot fire calf raises. Oh, they're so hard when we do them like this. I know, but you can do this. Okay, push yourself through. You're going to feel way better if you just get her done. Okay, final set. If you are already done, you got through that a little quicker than others, you can grab some water, rest it out. We'll wait for these guys to finish up here. I'm going to give you just about 1 minute, under a minute, and then we are going to start the final part, which is 3 exercises. Not too bad, okay? We're working off the timer. Also nice, which means you don't have to count. Always good news. Okay, so hopefully you are feeling your calves. I don't need to say that. You should be feeling all of that in the back of the lower legs, and then the deadlift, which is kind of a full leg one. We are going to move on to the last part here. I'm going to start talking about it right now. Okay, so if you are not done, you can just keep deadlift, calf raising your way while I start talking about this final part here. We are on the timer for 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Today, we've been working with this time format a lot this week, but today is the day where I suggest that you guys try to work through that 20 seconds of rest. Okay, so I have this time format set this way, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. We have 3 exercises. We're going to do 4 rounds of them. But for those of you who really want to challenge yourself, who really want to push yourself and get the most out of this conditioning circuit, and if you are, getting stronger, you're getting more fit, you're feeling like these things that we're doing are getting easier, especially for this 40-second rounds, work through your 20 seconds of rest. Okay, so rather than 40 on, 20 off, you will do 60 seconds on each of these and just get through them, okay? And that is an option. Not necessary, but is an option for those of you out there who know yourself, okay? And you know that that is going to make this entire circuit, this entire last part, way more challenging because you will not be taking any rest, okay? But some of us really need that rest, which is why I'm keeping it in here. So what we're going to do for the first round, 40 seconds, I'm going to show you guys this first exercise. We're going to take the 20 seconds of rest in between, okay? Again, it's optional. I'm going to show you the other 2 movements in that 20 seconds. So if you're working through the rest, you can just kind of pay attention to your screen. And then we're going to go through 4 rounds of it and get it done, okay? Feel amazing. So first one is our back forth switch lunges. So we're going to come to the end of our mat. We're going to, center of our mat, step forward, backward, and then we'll switch our legs. So really got to think about this one. We got some coordination going on. So center of the mat, again, if you have lots of room, it doesn't really matter where you stand. But if you're limited like me, you want to make sure you have some room in front of you for the front lunge and behind you for the back lunge, and then we switch legs, okay? So I'm going to press start on this timer. We are going to do this bang for 40 seconds, and then I will show you the other ones on this time. Are you ready? Set, starting 3, 2, 1, and let's go. No starting beat, because for some reason the app always likes to chase us on that starting beat, but that's okay. You guys have started, let's do it. If you're low impact, rather than jumping at that switch, we're simply just going to switch legs, okay? And then we'll work with this back, forth, and then you'll switch. So we have 20 seconds here. The other thing to note is that we do not need any equipment, as I have all my dumbbells and bands in the way. So you can move that stuff out of your way so that you don't accidentally trip on it, okay? So 3, 2, 1, and that was 40 seconds. So again, it's optional 20 seconds right now. If you want to keep going through that, you know it's going to make this whole thing a lot harder, okay? So that is our first one. The second one that we are going to do are our in and out quick feet. So I'm going to use the top of my mat here. I'll just move it back a bit. And I'm going to go over and back as fast as I can over this line through this entire 40 seconds. Okay, so let's go. So reference point can be a mat, it can be a line on your floor, it could just be nothing if you don't have anything to reference. But we're stepping forward and backward as fast as we can, moving our feet and our arms together, and everything moving. 20 more seconds. Okay, so another one. A little bit of brain work here. We have to connect our feet and our brain and our body and our arms to get everything working together. See if you can get that. Hold it here. 3, 2, and time. Nice job, you guys. Okay. Last one we're going to do are our plank jacks. So these ones are down in a plank position. We're going to be spending the entire 40 seconds jumping our feet in and out of that plank. So down we'll go. Here we are, and it looks like this. So we want to avoid too much bouncing in the hips. If you're low impact, if you don't jump, you got a little bit of this going on, just tapping right and left. And we are firmly on our hands, although if you are wanting to take a bit of stress off of your wrists, you can go down onto your forearms if you need to. Actually, it feels a little harder down there, okay? 20 seconds left. Plank jacks. You got it. Okay. When in doubt, just plank. Okay, that's the most important. Having the feet jump, having the feet move is definitely ideal. But if it gets too hard, I want you to just hold the plank. And time. Okay, so that was our first set. Now, if you did that, maybe you did the 40 seconds and you were feeling, but you know, it wasn't the hardest thing in the world. You can work through the 20 seconds of rest with 3 more sets to go, and then we are done. Okay, so we're back to this first one, our forward, backward, switch lunges. Let's go. So we go forward, backward, and then we'll switch the legs, land in that lunge, landing soft, trying to make no noise. Okay, not for the sake of people in the house, just kidding. For the sake of your joints, okay? The softer you can land, the safer it's going to be on your knees, your hips, your ankles. 20 seconds left. Especially when we're landing into this lunge position, we want to make sure everything is happening as fluidly as possible. 10 seconds left. Okay, so if you're approaching the end of this 10 seconds right now and there's any ounce of you that feels like you can keep going, then I want you to keep going, all right? Can you do that? Maybe, okay? Or maybe you just need to rest because you pushed yourself so hard in the 40, and that's completely okay. All right, whatever you got going on, we have 10 seconds until we're starting our second movement. Those fast feet. All right, so come find your line, whatever you're using, right? And let's go. So we want quick feet, over and back, trying to move the arms, move the legs. Okay, this one should be extremely uncomfortable, but you have to do that for yourself. No one can help you with this one. Really, all these, no one can really help you with them except me explaining how to do them, but you have to push yourself in them. You have to make your feet move faster, your arms move faster. 20 seconds left. Okay, 10 seconds, let's go. There it is. All right, so same thing with this one. If you want to keep going, that's a 20-second time before we start the third one. The plank jacks, woo! All right, so 10 seconds here. Okay, getting ready, down on the floor, ready to start in 3, 2, 1, let's do it. Plank jacks, and trying to have the hips not lift or bounce up and down, keep them as controlled as still as you can. If you cannot control them, something that helps is thinking about squeezing your butt. You can also widen up your feet. I'm always talking about wider feet equals easier whenever it comes to planking or doing anything in a plank position. Same rules apply here. So rather than having your feet from here and jump way out here, you can have them start here and then jump out wider. It's just going to make you feel a bit more manageable. If you're not going to make it, that is. Because I need you to make it. But you're almost there. Not too bad, right? That was our second set. Okay, we're going to do 2 more, and then we're done. We have a couple of stretches, but they are for you to do. We'll leave them with you today, and then you can get on with your day and feel amazing. All right, ready? 3, 2, and forward, backward, lunges. Let's do it. Trying to do these, as many of them in as we can. Okay, I like these ones, especially compared to like our regular split jumps where we're just split jumping and switching our lunges. Whew, these ones kind of break it up a little bit. Okay, but remember we want to do that switch at the back lunge. So we step forward and then we bring it back, and the back one is where we switch. Okay, not on the front one. 10 seconds left. Woo! All right, that was 40 seconds. Nice work. Okay, so that's feet in and out. Very technical term, okay? All right, get ready. Get set, and here we go. Let's go. Over and back, and try to keep your weight centered over top of your feet. You can stay in a slight forward athletic stance, and then we want to use the arms and the legs. But if the arms totally mess you up, don't worry about the arms, okay? Worry more about the feet, getting those guys moving quickly, and then eventually you can add in the arms and build up the momentum with both. 15 seconds, right here. Okay, as hard as you can, as fast as you can. If you can't really go as fast as you can, you work through the 20 seconds of rest, so at least you get that amount of work in, okay? You get a little bit longer time. 3, 2, 1, nice job. Good work. Okay, plank jacks. Yeah, just fly under this. You're almost there. Plank jacks, 1 more set, and then we up. All right, get down there. Plank position, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Plank jack in. All right. Second last time here. You got this, okay? Just hold a plank. Maybe you can just tap your feet right and left. Throw in, do those jacks if you can, okay? Maybe you're consistently just going on the jacks, okay? If that's you, I do not want you, so you have to keep going. 10 seconds left. Okay, breathing right to the end here. 3, 2, 1, and that's 40. All right, here we are, the final sets of the final circuits. And then we are going to be done. Back to the first one. So back forth, switch, lunges. Okay, so get yourself ready. Ready or not, you are starting right now. Let's go. Okay, so we go forward, we go backward, we switch as many times as we can. Okay, and I'm challenging all of you, no matter what you did on those first 3 rounds, I want to see if you can work through that 20 seconds of rest. Okay, so push yourself right now the same way that you did in the first 3 sets, but in that 20 seconds, just keep going. Okay, don't think about that yet. You got 15 seconds right now, holding this pace. Whatever you did in the first 3 sets, you got it going on right here. Okay, in 10 seconds, I want you to see if you can just keep going. All right, when this timer beeps, even if you're going really slow, even if you're only just doing lunges, okay, it doesn't matter. I want you to keep moving. See if you can push yourself through to keep doing something for the next 20. Okay, because a lot of times it's not our body, all right? It is our mind, it is our brain. Our brain is checked out, it's done, okay? But you push it, you make it, you force it to do these things. 3, 2, and right into the next one. Okay, let's go. Fast feet, in and out, same thing. The 40 seconds is essential. Okay, all of you have to do this as strong as you can. We're going to try to see if we can push through that extra 20. 1 minute. You know how fast a minute goes in real life? 40 seconds goes. So just push yourself right now, because you know you're going to feel so good at the end of the session. You gave it all you got. You didn't leave anything left in the tank. You know, so back up. You want to let it all out right here. 10 seconds. Okay, so move your feet so that you really need to stop. Okay? See if you can keep going. The next 20 seconds right now. Okay? Even if you're going slow, it's all good. Keep one more movement. The plank jacks. The best for last. Okay? And then we are done for the day. Okay, getting ready to start the plank jacks. You can stop that one. Get down there. Okay, because we want a strong 40 seconds of the plank jacks, and let's go. So we're trying to jump the feet in and out and avoid that bouncing in the hips. Woo! Okay, at least stay in a plank. Halfway there. Through the 40, guys. Let's do it. Okay, so you guys have 10 seconds right here. Woo! Last one. So we'll see again if you can stay in this plank and challenge yourselves. Challenge your bodies right now for 20 more seconds. Can you do it? I think you can. Sometimes you just have to force yourself to do it, which is probably what you're thinking right now, is that, dang, I really don't want to do this. Okay, but you have 10 seconds left, so just get back up there and hold it and stay with us. Don't give up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and now you can stop and you can rest and you can flop down on the floor, do whatever you want. But rather than that, what I would suggest is that you stand up and that you walk around, okay? Because that is the thing that is going to help you cool down and calm down the most effectively, is you staying moving. So the distance of your mat, the length of your room, okay, go outside, take a nice deep breath of cold air if you need to, whatever it is. Right now, we're just going to calm down, okay? So take the next minute or two to simply just take some deep breaths, stay moving, grab some water, all of those things, all right? I am going to leave you guys with 2 stretches that I would highly suggest you do, but not quite yet. Okay, but first, you just need to rest, recover, and get to that level where you could actually have a conversation with someone. So if someone asked you how you were right now, you most likely couldn't answer. You'd be huffing and puffing because we're so hot and heavy from what we just did. So once you start to feel a bit more normal, you can join me in these ones, okay? So the first one, probably seen this coming, the hip flexor stretch. Welcome, okay? This is something that you are going to see me, and you do see me, suggest that you do very often, because these guys get very tight and they tend to lead to big issues, including tight lower backs, lower back pain, and tight hips and hip pain. So we will take some time today to stretch out your hip flexors. This half kneeling stretch is my favorite. You can also do the standing version, but we need this pelvic tilt in both. You squeeze your butt, activate the glute, and then we'll open up the hip here. So 60 seconds is the time to be. Anytime we're stretching, we want to hold each side for 1 whole minute, okay? Maybe even a little longer if we have the time and the patience, all right? So if you need to get out your phone or, you know, a clock or something and actually set that minute to help you stay here, then that is what I would do. Okay, so that's what I have to do because I get a little bit ADD when it comes to stretching, and I'm not going to be holding this full minute with you. Okay, but I do want to emphasize how important this one is. So if you're going to do anything, you should probably stretch out this one. Second one that is going to feel really good and help us out a lot from all the work that we did today is the calves, okay? So we can do a little bit of this action here. We did a lot of calf raises, so we want to spend some time to stretch out the back of the lower leg so that you are feeling a little looser back there. So probably feeling quite tight, okay? So you can go into this one, the hip flexor one, in no particular order. You can do whatever one you want first. Anything else, my friends, you please take some time right now, stretch it out, okay? Your hamstrings, your glutes, maybe you want to lay on your back, pull in your knee, do the glute one. You are done with me for today and for the week. And thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me in the Zoom room. And if you watched the replay today, please drop a comment below so I know you're here. Thank you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye.